In the meantime, as we head towards week 3 here, South Carolina at Georgia is one of the interesting games. Last time these teams met at Georgia was 2019, and South Carolina won that game in double overtime. Also in action, Auburn at number 10 Penn State. That's a fascinating game. Tigers seeking their first win over a ranked opponent since their season opener of last year. And then the big one this weekend is in Gainesville. Number 11 Florida hosting Alabama. The Crimson Tide's only game decided by single digits over the last 2 seasons was against Florida in the 2020 SEC Championship. And so with David here, let me bring Heather and Paul back into the conversation and start there. At a time in the sport where it feels like it's Alabama and then everybody else, you find places and say, well, maybe this is where they get a game. Maybe this is where they could lose. Paul Feinbaum, is this that place?
No, it is not. I'd love to give you a different answer one day just for the excitement of watching competition. But Alabama's not going down this weekend. And this is one of the most dangerous arenas in college football, Greeny, but it doesn't matter to Alabama. They are that good, and Florida has some issues, especially trying to figure out which way to go at quarterback.
Heather, how about you? What do you think here again? I'm sure there are a lot of people trying to figure out, is there a spot to be tripped up and maybe this is it? What is your perspective on this game?
This is not it. I think Paul nailed it. And I have questions about Florida's quarterback situation as well. But I want to say that this doesn't mean that Alabama is invincible. Their remaining strength of schedule is number 7 in the country. I understand Texas A&M was in a dogfight against Colorado, but they have home field advantage later when those two teams play. So let's see what happens when Alabama's competition really increases and how they handle that. But yes, until proven otherwise, it's the Tide and everybody else.
All right, well, we'll see. I mean, competition increasing. They get Florida this week on the road. That has to be one of the tougher games that they have on their schedule. And David Pollack, I'm not sure how this is possible, but their last 3 quarterbacks are all starters in the NFL, and this new one looks like the best of them all. Tell me, is Bryce Young going to wind up being the best quarterback Alabama's had in the last decade?
Wow. You say that, I say no. I can't give you that right away. I like Bryce Young. I like what he's done so far. He's got no INTs, which is great. 7 touchdowns. What he has, a lot of those guys had with Jalen Hurts and Tua. He's got a knack, man, to make plays. You can see he's got a lightning quick release. He can scramble outside the pocket, but always looking to throw. But my God, Greeny, we haven't even seen him challenged yet. We haven't even seen him in a big atmosphere. We haven't even seen him against a really good team. More importantly, even on the road. So I think this weekend will be a big test for him. Maybe face some adversity. Maybe have to make plays. In crucial situations. Let's see that before we start anointing him the best quarterback ever to play history of college football.
Well, let's see. I'm ready to anoint. I watched that game against Miami. I'm ready to do it. We'll see what he does this weekend against Florida. So, Mr. Feinbaum, let me come back to you. I've put the over-under right now on the number of SEC teams that are going to wind up in the college football playoff. If I put that over-under at 1.5, which way do you go?
I'm going over. I think it's going to be 2 because right now, and Heather can back this up better than I can, Alabama and Georgia really have a really nice path, and that's why that game against Clemson was so important for the Dogs. Yes, they do play Florida neutral site. They could, ultimately get Alabama in the SEC championship game. I slipped up and called that the national championship game. But it may not matter if they're both undefeated because I think they would both end up advancing to the playoffs.
All right, so those are the teams that are at the top. Heather, I then want to talk to you about teams that we're accustomed to seeing at the top. I mean, we just heard the trivia question with David. Nebraska, of course, a traditional powerhouse in college football. So is USC, which fired their coach this week. Michigan is another one. And so I wanted to ask the question, and it's on my poll question right now with the news of Clay Helton's firing. Which of these legendary programs, USC, Texas, Michigan, or Nebraska, is going to be the next one to make it into the college football playoff? Actually, David, I'll start with you. Which one would you bet?
If I had to bet, I would go USC. And they're the only program, by the way, right now without a coach. But I look at that program, I look at the Pac-12, the history of that program. I think they'll always be able to have a ton of talent in the state, and I think they'll get it back. And I think they'll get a great coach, and I think they'll be in a position to be successful. Texas has Oklahoma, Nebraska, no shot. Michigan still has to go through Ohio State.
Heather Dinich, how about you? Of those four, which do you think will be the first one we eventually see someday in the college football playoff?
Well, Greeny, since you said someday, I'm going to go with Texas and pretend like the Arkansas loss didn't happen. And the reason I say Texas is because all of these teams need the playoff to expand in order to get in the college football playoff. And by the time that happens, Texas is going to be in the SEC. And, well, go ahead and just give them the benefit of the doubt like everybody else.
Okay, fair enough. Paul Feinbaum will like that thinking. How about you, Paul? Of those four programs, which one you putting in?
Greeny, I'm not even sure Nebraska is ever going to have a winning season again, let alone win a national championship. But I think the answer is USC, for the reason that they have an easier path to the playoffs than Texas will in the SEC. By the time that happens, the expansion will help. But I really like Southern Cal.
And very quickly, I took Texas for the exact same reason as Heather. They're going to wind up in the SEC at some point. When in doubt, that's the direction in which I look. So that's what our crew thinks. Let's see what America thinks. I have the question up on my Twitter page at ESPN Greeny. And the folks like Michigan. 42% of those who voted in my poll say Michigan, followed by SC, then Texas and Nebraska bringing up the rear. It is possible I have a disproportionate number of followers in the Midwest and in Big Ten country, but we will see. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.